Amane, please save the Sakamoto Society. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact, here we are to do a breakdown and review of chapter 239 of Sakamotodays, which is known as Tinderbox. And I will admit. Oh, but no, see, that's I was really about to say, I'll admit, probably going to be soft on the chapter, because I don't know, I've been reading the comments, I've been seeing the discourse, I've been trying to be nicer, right, because I guess I am unnecessarily mean to Sakamoto Days, because I'm comparing it to Prime Sakamoto Days, and, like, very few things are as good as Prime Sakamoto Days. Like, one commenter in particular from last review kind of got to me, like, even though I did end up arguing back in the comment response, they mentioned the idea of, like, well, characters disappear all the time in narratives, right? Like, even in, especially in battle manga. And, like, my argument back to that was, like, yeah, it's usually never in major fights like this one, and also, it's usually characters who aren't top tiers who would fundamentally change the course of the narrative if they were actually still there and not disappeared. But, still, it does happen. It's like, am I being too mean? I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, should I get mad at a narrative for not living up to its own standards? I don't know. That's something that's something I've been going back and forth on. Where, like, is it okay for, like, a story to fall? Like, but, like, is it, like, that's the thing. I'm not sure. I don't know. I've been oddly reflective recently, where I'm like, am I just being too mean? Am I just a meanie stupid? Like, especially thinking about the end of last review and how I kind of just didn't give the last chapter worthiness because it just didn't feel like it earned it. Because it was just like, Like, I didn't. If I didn't have a strong enough reaction to the chapter and I was, like, fishing for worthiness so hard, I feel like it didn't deserve it. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see how this chapter makes you feel. Because I'm still, like, flipping back and forth. Because I don't want to be overly mean. I want to be overly, like, it's still Moto Days, right? Like I joke about it, but still, it's Moto Days. It still has some of my favorite moments out there. It still, inarguably, pretty much has the best choreography. Like, right now, really, there's no comp outside of Kagurabachi, and even then, I think Sakamoto Days has a little bit of extra sauce in comparison to Kagurabachi, just in the dynamism of it all. But, like, I don't know. We'll see, though. We'll see. Let's hop into chapter 239, Tinderbox. Shin, is everyone okay? Amane, what are you doing here? Shin, where is your nose? Why does this happen? I don't know. I gotta get over that, too. I have not noticed. I've not nosed this. I just haven't noticed it enough. Now I'm going to start paying attention in every other series. I don't know what I think it's because we get so many front-facing shots where the nose missing just looks weird. But even then, there are other times where that happens in other manga. So now, and instead of getting Sawed on Sakamoto Days characters not having noses, I'm gonna get harsher on other series for also not showing noses. I'm like, what do you? But see, look at. Why is he so handsome? Look at him. Look at my glorious, handsome, legendary, sharp jawline King Gozu. And why you look so mad, bro? Why you look so mad? But why is he low-key manga? Like, hold on. There's the angle. He just looks so clean with it. Wait, let's see. The JCC's a disaster. There's these twins from Kansai. Not Kansai. There's these English. There's these twins from Kansai who are crazy strong, and the Saber brothers were battling them, and we'll explain later. Amani's like, we cannot summarize the actual peak that's going on back in the JCC right now. Hold on! We gotta go. Hurry up! Let's get Sakamoto and his family up here! Well, Tanabata, you gonna reappear? You gonna manifest? The one-shot the helicopter? Please? Here! Oh, and also, like, you're just gonna get Sakamoto out the truck, which was currently flipped over. Like, is Sakamoto good? Let's see. You have so much aura! It's literally in excess overflow. Oh, yes, he's fine. Okay, well, at least Al's holding. Hey, Al, you know how this all could have been avoided if you had just driven the truck like you should have and not worried about your expired license? Womp womp. But, that aside, it has to be studied. It has to be genuinely, honestly, truly, and fundamentally studied. How a character can have such an excess, such an overflow of aura. Like, it's like spiritual pressure, dog. It's spiritual, like the electricity radiating around him as he stands from a higher vantage point over the truck, cloaked in shadow, as he holds the arms to the side, as he's walking forward. Like, the excess of aura that is overflowing off the panel right now has me low-key getting an aura buff just by reading the like, I'm legit getting amped right now. But he's up. And where is Shishiba! Wasn't he in the middle of fighting him last chapter? Like, Shishiba, did you just let him go? You were in the midst of boxing this man. I know Taurus and Tanabata are, or no, Taurus and Osaragi are fighting right now. But like, Shishiba, why did you give him the opportunity to aura form like this? Keep fighting it. I don't know. Let's see. I heard that. You're not going anywhere. Like, look, even this panel, bro. So much aura. So the whited out eyes, the tilt to the side, the extra shit. He looks so cool. Does that, like, this is another thing I've been thinking on. Because admittedly, this goes into like me writing my own narrative, right? Because I don't like have a character exactly like Gozu. Notably, when my characters aura farm a narrative, it's because they've earned it. Gosh darn it! It's like they've gone through an awakening or a development of some sort, and they start aura farming, and it's like it's essentially, think of it like in JJK when Gojo awakens. Like, I'm aura farming, but I'm also barely even myself. Like, I'm like notable every single time one of my characters quote unquote awakens or undergoes a new discovery, they kind of enter a weird fugue state where they're like barely there. Other characters who know them are like, Is that really? They don't even feel the same, because I have a power system, unlike Sakamoto days. So, like, one of my characters aura farm this purpose, but the thing is, Gozu aura farms so well. So well, that's the thing. Does that degrade, does that take away, is it like two separate sides of a coin, right? We're like, yeah, Gozu has all this amazing legendary juicy scrubbing up his aura. But, like, in reality, he's kind of a bum who actually ends up helping the main characters more than he hurts them. Gozu has extremely cool panels like this, and literally the best design in the entire series, in my opinion. He also got one tap by Boiled. And then hit by Boiled again! Do I have to separate? Is there Gozu the aura farmer and Gozu the actual narrative device? And I'm just like I have to reach it, like I'm pulling two magnets apart, like I just like ripping it in half so I can have Gozu the aura farmer and not lose it. I don't know, dog. I'm starting to think I need to do that because there's no way this character has this much aura. Let's see. You're not going anywhere. I'm still like, I'm not. That's the thing. I feel like that move from Al was so out of character too. I think I called her Hana earlier accidentally. My bad. I was talking about it. That move of her not driving the truck when her husband's life and her own life and her daughter's life are in danger. That feels so out of character for her too. Like, I still really don't like that. But that's 2 chapters ago. We were gonna blame this chapter for that. Come on, Shin. Don't even sweat. You know you're gonna low diff Gozu. In fact, where's Shishiba? Alright, there we go. I was about to say. There we go. Okay, good. I was about to say, please don't tell me you're gonna make Shishiba disappear. And you know what though? I'll give extra credit. Gozu does. Even when he's not looking, right? Like, he's in the midst of aura farming on the truck. And I guess Shishiba Shishiba's like, you know what? We have to let you get your daily aura farm again, Gozu. I'll let it rock. And then he's like, alright, no more. We can't actually let you do things to the main characters, dog. That's impossible. So he came in and tapped Gozu. But you can see Gozu, he throws up the hand to block. And he is very specifically blocking with his bare flesh hand. It's not like where before in the last chapter where he was like playing patty cake with the hammer with his claws, which at least are like covered in presumably some type of metal. He just blocks the hammer with his bare hands. And we know Shishiba is still insanely physically strong. So shout outs to Gozu, man. Shout outs to Gozu. He does block the hammer hit and then gets sent flying. Once again, he just looks so cool. And I can tell, at least so far, there hasn't been, unlike last chapter where it was like, oh, you know, some of the arts, outside of them occasional missing noses, so far, Suzuki Sensei just hitting right now. Alright, boom! Smack to the side. Interesting, too. So, that's also one of those weird things where, like, should it go that way? Maybe it's like a weird perspective thing. Hold on. I guess it actually kind of works. It kind of works, depending on where, if he was standing. Because it looks like it's almost the way, I guess it's like a knock thing. I think it would work more. I get why Suzuki Sensei used this side of the hammer. I only have the Mjolnir hammers. But, like, it's kind of like what I explained last chapter, where, like, the angle on Osaragi kind of looks a little bit funky, like, where she's going relative to where she was swinging. Like, Gozu shouldn't be sent horizontally when he was hit by, like, a gripping side thing. He should have been thrown, like almost in a circle, like, away. Like, he should have been thrown away, considering Shishiba does seem to complete the swing. Actually, wait, no. Maybe not. Maybe it is just, like, the angle. You know, it's still a 2D manga. Because it looks like... No, because this is the handed motion. So he does hit him to the right. So why does he go left? You know what I mean? Or, like, left or forward from Shishiba's perspective. This direction that Gozu flies would make more sense if Shishiba, like, drop kicked him. But since he hits him with the side of the hammer, very specifically with, like, a right swinging motion, Gozu should either be heading, like, away from the camera, like, he should be heading this way, like, towards this building over here. Come on. Cursor, pop out! I need to use this guy. There we go. Gozu should either be heading this way, over towards the sign in this building, or like, even if anything, like, behind Shishiba. But he goes horizontally. But also, I get that. That's, like, just panel direction thing. And only reason I'm even noticing this is because now I'm paying extra attention, because I like the late Sakamoto days. Let's see. Boom! Darn, straight into a building? One tap of doom and despair, dog. At least it wasn't boiled. At least it wasn't boiled. Let's see. BAM! Huh? What? Mr. Shishiba? Yeah, he's here. Hurry up and get Mr. Sakamoto out of here. Y'all are cramping my style. I'm sorry, I don't know. I love Shishiba, dog. I love Shishiba. He's so cool. He's so cool. He's so cool. And, like, Shishiba, technically, though, I guess Gozu did technically steal a little bit of Shishiba's aura. But he only stole Shishiba's aura after he was 1v1ing Uzuki Mura. So, like, it's not too much of an aura loss. I can't even say that Shishiba lost too much aura. He's still cooking. He's still cooking with gas. Yeah, he's still cooking with gas. He's fine. He's fine. Though, admittedly, it is kind of weird that technically, because Shin survived, like, all order jumping, he should be stronger than Shishiba at this point. He should be. But, of course, it's not how the narrative's gonna go. Let's see. Y'all are cramping my style. Oh, got it. Hurry up, hurry up! Hurry up, hurry! Oh, wait, no, that's character whose name I keep forgetting. And I'm not gonna bother to look it up. Torimaru, there we go. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry! And, like, what? Oh, Tanabata. Aw, that's sweet. She remembers Amade. I remember they only had, like, 2 interactions. That's sweet. She remembers them. Let's see. Oh, that's even sweeter. Torimaru is a huge Sakamoto fan. Whoa, a Sakamoto munchkin? Cute. Hi, Amane. Oh, he smiles at that. Let's see. Shin notices something. Is it gonna be, is Tanabata gonna spawn back in? Because why is he letting all this happen? And again, yeah, Sakamoto's just fine. He's just still knocked out. Alright. No. Okay, and Boyle's gonna, like, now it is just weird. Tanabata shouldn't have been here, man. We could have made the car auto drive or something, man. Because, like, now it is just weird. He's not doing anything. He fully vanished. Like, I'm literally thinking back to what the commenter said. It happens all the time. But, like, in fact, I need to see if you know what? We're gonna take a quick second as I read this. Hold it right there, Taro Sakamoto. Ah, oh, great, just what we needed. A bunch of JA forces. Get to the chopper and shoot down the chopper. Roger. Okay, I was glazing the art a little bit. What is this, Suzuki-sensei? What is this guy? All right, but Roger, hold on. Let me go back in time for a minute. Girl, I want to know your name. Let me down for a minute. Hold on, let me go to public. Because I just want to see what they said. If they said anything back. They may have not. I respond to comments and I don't get responses back, and that's fine. Let me see. Not that one, not that one, not that one. This one. Let me see. Or maybe I was just tweaking and the comment never existed. Am I dumb? Am I stupid? Am I an idiot? I don't know. The comment's just not there, even when I cleared the filter on that. But in the case, like, I'm thinking of it. When I make the critique of characters disappearing when they could have a massive impact on the narrative, you know what I mean, right? When I say Tanabata being here as he was wouldn't even allow this plot point to happen, right? Like, Shin would either have to be forcefully combating Tanabata himself. But no, let me wait. I'll wait. Because the Tanabata critique is like a holdover from him disappearing last chapter. Like, the effects it's currently having on last chapter's narrative and then this chapter. Let's keep going and let's see if he pops up. Because he may pop up still. Who knows? No! Hard! Boiled! Oh, wait, Wu-Tang? Up in Blit? In my Donomoto? What? Okay, let's see. Boiled! Boils! Wu-Tang! Once again, shit with no nose. I don't know. Now that I've noticed it in some ways, I can't stop noticing it when the character just randomly draw with no nose. Once again, the art for this chapter is looking fantastic. Except for old hard-boiled over here. Hard-boiled head. Let me die. Let me see. Boils! Wu-Tang! Leave these riffraff to us. Go! We can't all fit in the chopper. I'm sorry. I don't even think I've ever actually even seen that movie. I just know the name. Let's see. Go! We can't all fit in the chopper. Y'all probably fried. Let's see. Anyway, when Sakamoto wakes up, tell him something for me. You're my #1 hard-boiled friend. And wait. Like, don't get me wrong. Boiled, like, but you know what? At this point, Boiled has actually become. This is gonna sound insane. My initial love for Boiled was admittedly just a very high appreciation of his early series fight, and then like the meme of the character who just like kept showing up, and I was like, you know, that's fine. But, and I'm not even saying that Boiled has suddenly become the most deep and like ostentatious and legendary. Like, I'm not gonna drop an hour-long discussion video on Boiled. Actually, I wouldn't put that past me. An eventual retrospective may actually drop a 1 hour retrospective video on Boiled. But like, that's not, like, current me right now. Or the me before this moment. But Boiled, unironically, has shown up enough and has had enough moments and has done enough weird, strangely crazy, like, being untouchable by Shin somehow in the prison arc, even though Shin will you're going to bully Tenkyu. Don't ask how that worked. And somehow being below Joe Shackles, yet being able to be undamaged by Shin in the middle of the prison arc, to him one-tapping Gozu, to him getting strummed by Tanabata, to him one-shotting this crew, to him tapping Gozu again. Like, Boyle's just become goated. I don't even know, like, he's just slowly but surely been creeping his way up to being, like, a meme character that I liked. No, he's actually just goated. He's still, like, the jokiest of joke characters. But, I don't know, man. He's just goated with the sauce. He's just goated with the sauce. Let's see. What? Sorry, I can't hear anything over the chopper. Did you say something? You're my best. Say what? See, like, I get it. That's the thing. Boiled. And ultimately, there were no, this is fine, right? This is a comedy moment. Because, like, Boiled's not necessarily meant to be a serious character. And despite the quote-unquote serious stakes of, like, getting Sakamoto out of here, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, none of this matters. Sakamoto's fine. She's gonna be fine. Everyone's gonna be fine. Let's see. Say what? So I'm not gonna, where before, like, the whole license bit did lead to, like, a major plot point progression and was, like, a weird tension break after Kendaka won. Speaking of which, is Kendaka okay? We're just not gonna worry about him? He's just fried, huh? Forget Kendaka, right? I guess. I mean, like, that's fine. Like, Kendaka, at least he was removed from the narrative by getting one shot, but, like, Tanabata man, I guess, whatever. Let's see. Say what? So Saba's back there fighting? Yeah, that's how we were able to come for Mr. Sakamoto. From the JCCs. Ding? Ding what? Oh! There we go. So he's back. Okay. So you know what? That's fine. That's fine. See, that's why I was like, you know what, let me not go too deep in, because he may show up. I think it is still weird. I think it's weird that he just did nothing. And that's that, well, I'm not gonna, I kinda talked about it last time. It's fine to have top tiers get removed when they would break things. But one, I always say just don't put them there. Don't put them there. And two, if you are going to remove them, give them a good reason. You know how, notice how I haven't mentioned that Osuragi and Taurus haven't shown up this chapter, right? Like, I didn't say anything about that. Why? Because they're fighting each other off screen. Sure, it's entirely off screen, would be a cool matchup to see, yeah. But they're fighting each other off screen. That's fine. I'm not asking, hey, where's Kanaguri? Because Kanaguri's not here, right? That's another top tier character, but he's not here. And I think that's okay. I think it's perfectly fine. And I'm not going to critique an author for not explicitly giving us where every single top tier is, as long as they aren't here and could directly affect the plot. The fact that Tanabata just stood on the sideline and kind of just let all this happen with no interruption until now. Sure, is it a cool thing that I guess he can turn his guitar into a firearm, I suppose? Yeah, it's a cool thing, but why did he wait so long? Tanabata is also an up-close physical fighter. It's not like he's a Kamihate type who also, weirdly enough, ended up having weird up-close feats. Like, he could have stopped them from even getting in the chopper before they got in and started taking away. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. And once again, it's like I mentioned last chapter. We need to remove him because he'd be inconvenient for this moment, but we're gonna bring him right back because he's still here. Like, give him, like, I guess the thing that's implied is that he was climbing this building the entire time, I guess. But, like, all of last chapter, he was just gone. Or he could have prevented all of last chapter if he was there. And now he's here to do something this chapter. I don't know, it's iffy. It's iffy. I'm not going to hold this chapter to the failures of the previous chapter, but I am still going to press the idea, if you are going to, especially within a battle manga, right? Like, I think it's different if you're writing a different type of story, even though I believe all stories have some form of power scaling, like, specifically in a battle manga. If you're going to have top tiers in an area, and they would, in character, contribute to a battle for one reason or another, you have to give them a good reason why they aren't. And you can't just make them disappear until it's convenient for you. That level of convenience writing, because I'll call it convenient writing, is bad writing. Every story requires some level of convenience to function. I'm never going to say that's not the case. But he doesn't exist. He does exist till he doesn't exist till he does exist. That's not it. That's not it. I'm still not a fan of that. But I'm not gonna hold that too heavily against this chapter. Let's see. So he loads up. Oh, and I still don't like that. Let's see. Huh? Shin? Sorry, Mane. Keep evading them until Mr. Sakamoto wakes up. What? Mr. Sakamoto's the only guy who can turn the situation. But, like... How do I put this without spoiling something massively? Okay. I'm going to speak in very vague terms. But, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. There's a series I really, really like. And it has its main character, arguably its titular character, but its main character disappear. Like, straight vanish for a large swath of the narrative. Like, I'm talking, the series is like 500, maybe 600, I forget off the top of my dopies how long it is. In fact, I'm going to quickly double check how long it is. Just so the people who know, let me see. Let me go here. No, not that. Let me go here. Let me type it in. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure it's like 500. Is it 500 or is it 600? I think it's 500. Yeah, okay, it's nearly 600. 570. It's 570 chapters long. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure the main, if not titular character, disappears for like 200 chapters of the narrative. Like, over a third of it. He's just gone. He's not there. But he comes back insanely more cracked, dumb, and stupid than when he left. But you know why that works? Because before the character was removed from the narrative, he was already insanely cracked and strong. And then while he was gone, he was just on a dumb, stupid, crack, crazy training arc. So when he comes back stronger, it doesn't feel weird. It doesn't raise any question. It doesn't contradict anything. If anything, it just makes more sense. Character has a bunch of potential. They were a potential man. They were training to exercise the potential. They come back with the potential. All that works. For another example, think of Goku, right? I think there we go. Funnily enough, it's very similar to Gyarados. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about in terms of that manga or story. But Goku was gone for a majority of early Namek. He was just gone. But when he arrived on Namek after that 6-day period, after that flight, and after getting the sense of being and all that, he was much stronger. But that was once again made sense. It was contextualized by training. Goku was already a very strong, very important, very top tier fighter before he went down after the Saiyan arc. Then he recovered post Saiyan arc, got a Zenkai boost, which is established mechanic, and then he trained the entire 6 days to Namek. So when he comes back and his dumb stupid crack and has Vegeta being like, is this guy just a Super Saiyan? What's going on? That makes sense. All of that makes sense. Nothing's being contradicted. Naruto disappears to go to the stage. Like I brought up example after example of a major character disappearing for a decent chunk of the narrative and then coming back massively stronger. But it makes sense because they're training, because they're doing something active, because this, that, and the third. And it doesn't contradict anything prior. I think the reason I don't like this point so much, the reason Mr. Sakamoto is the only guy who can turn this around, you're scared of Mr. Sakamoto, this and the third, it contradicts the narrative that we were given. Last we saw Sakamoto active, he couldn't even fight back. He was so traumatized that he couldn't fight at all. Before that, when he was still Sakamoto, and he was actively fighting, he was being bullied, lost not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, I believe 5 times in a row to Taurus. 5. Cinco. Why is he the guy who can turn everything around? And like, here's the thing. I don't like it's to the idea once again I mentioned last week about Tanabata disappearing, right? It's like Suzuki Sensei wants me to forget what Sakamoto is, or like what Sakamoto's role was, or like where he was, and like where he left him. He didn't leave Sakamoto in like this perfect prime position and like send him off on a trip. No, he got him one-tapped and ganked by the main villain group who bullied him, and then put him into a coma because they stabbed his heart through. I'm supposed to believe the man, who's had, what, maybe a few weeks since he got back shots, is going to come back with a mostly healed heart, I guess, and suddenly be the strongest in the verse? Or suddenly be any more competent than Torres, when before he went under, he wasn't? Especially when we've established that going into extensive comas actually weakens characters in this universe. Look at Kendaka, who just has been left behind, I guess. Like, what do we mean? Like, this isn't... Sakamoto isn't undergoing a training arc. He wasn't an already top-tier, unstoppable character before he went under, and now he's gonna come back. Like, I don't know how weaker than Torres, then couldn't fight back, then in a coma for a while, then wakes up and suddenly becomes Prime Sakamoto again. That doesn't work. And I know, like, the main argument is gonna be like, well, something mental block, something talking with Rion, something strong in the verse. But that's dumb. That's poor writing. I think, like, I'm not even not gonna sugarcoat it to it. That's poor writing. You, Suzuki-sensei, I read your manga. And I don't have the object permanence of a goldfish. The volumes you wrote, the story you wrote before this point, set up why Sakamoto is actually probably the weakest character we have right now, because he can't even fight back before this. And even when he was able to fight, he was still weaker than Torres, who Shin performed better against, at least in terms of not instantly losing. Shin never lost a fight to Torres. He was just ganked over and over again. Heisuke performed better than Sakamoto did against Torres, because he didn't instantly lose. Like, of all the characters we have here, of all the different top tiers we have here, Sakamoto's actually, like, on the lowest of lowest ends of it. But you mean to tell me he's gonna come back and be the strongest? Why? It's not, like, there's no justification Suzuki says he can give. Like, oh, he woke up and he went through a mental thing and now he's just back in his physical. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. But it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Because it has to happen. Because if Shin speaks, it will happen. And I'm not the fan of that. I'm not a fan of that. Let's see. Shin! Yep. No! Alright, so talking about an up stick, fires, Shin leaps out. We won't even question. Well, he probably just ripped it from the helicopter. Blocks with a pipe, deflects it. Let's see, does he deflect it back at him? No, alright. But he does come in and he's gonna be 1v1ing Tanabata. Alright. So now, see, once again, if this had just happened last chapter, if Shin, you could have literally all of last chapter go the same, have Boiled grab Atari, I guess, as Shin goes to 1v1 Tanabata. So then we have the three top tiers fighting. We have Shishiba. We still won't ask how they found them and got there. We will not ask. There will be no questions asked on how Osaragi and Shishiba found them, as I will admit that is also just a narrative thing. Whatever, they can find them. That's fine. Convenient writing is convenient writing to a certain degree. But we have Osaragi versus Torres. We have Gozu versus Shishiba, and we have Shin versus Tanabata. That's three top tiers matched up evenly in 1v1s. That's fine. If this happened sooner, I'd be so much finer with the last chapter than before that. It's the fact that they just outright disappear. I'm like, I can't lean around with it that much. But that's fine. At least we're set up now. So let's see. Will Tanabata actually do something? Or will he, like every other Shin opponent, get viciously Shin diffed? We'll see. Let's see. What? Oh my word! Butter my behind and call me a biscuit. Is that Oki and Nagumo having most of their fight off screen? Why am I not surprised? Are we actually going to see them continue their fight though? Oh, I rate the Reaper side. Have we seen that before? I don't think we've seen the multi-tool turn into a Reaper side. That's cool. Let's see. There's quite a commotion in the city. Yeah. Apparently we're not the only ones fighting. Can we actually see your fight though? Can we actually see your fight? Please, can we actually see your fight? Please. Why does Nagumo, one of the coolest characters in the verse in terms of choreography, always get a majority of his fights off screen? Kind of exciting, huh, Mr. Oki? It's like an actual war. Cheeky jerk. Staying cool as always, huh? Okay, but once again, fine. That's fine. The reason I didn't question Nagumo, so that's interesting. So a lot of the timeline is very, very compressed. A lot of these things are happening all at the same time. That's fine. Let's see. I wonder where Yotsumura is. Let's see. And I'm not saying that as like a bad thing. I wonder where Yotsumura is. Just like, I don't know. He's not been established to be anywhere yet, and he could help. Let's see. Cheeky jerk. Staying cool as always, huh? Alright. So we have, and to be fair though, Boiled and Wu-Tang, they're just gonna be fighting random fodders. That's fine. But we do have it. We're here, we're set up. We have seemingly the final major battle set up. We have Shishiba versus Gozu. We have Osaragi versus Torres. Still not a match I was expecting. Like, I'll admit, this, of all the matches we've gotten, is like the most random. And I know we literally have Kipe, an entirely new character, fighting two very well-established characters. But I don't know, this one, not on my bingo card, but at the same time, I guess I don't know who else Torres was going to fight. I don't know who else Osaragi was going to fight. Like, do y'all think that Granny characters ever being reintroduced? Do you think that was like a one-off mistake that wasn't supposed to happen? Because I'm not sure who she's fighting now, unless she's fighting Yotsumura. Like, remember that character that was introduced with all the other new characters? You think? But that's the thing, though. He did eventually remember Nagumo versus Oki. So, like, You think Suzuki Sensei just forgot about that character and like added one too many? Because now, with the cop guy gone, with Amatador gone, with Kumanomi and Heisuke's whole plotline already resolved, who does that one have left to fight other than Yotsumura? Right, like, I don't know, Kinaka if he gets up. I don't know. Let's see. Yep, we have Osoragi versus Torres, Kipe versus Amane and Natsuki. We have Boiled and Wu-Tang versus Random Fodders, and we have Atari just being Atari. And then we have Shin versus Tanabata. Okay, and Shin's using Future Sight off rip. Alright. Wake up, sweetie. And then, badoom. Alright. So, in the same vein as last chapter, was kind of like a reluctant, yeah, since I'm fighting for it so hard, I don't think it really deserves it. I'm going to be like on the opposite side of that, and I'll give the chapter worthiness. It's not enthusiastic though. Because but I will admit, this chapter has more good than like I'm not going to, once again, it's kind of like, funnily enough, I talk about like the importance of object permanence and me having read your story, Suzuki Sensei. Bye. I will say this. I will not heavily weigh this chapter down for the flaws of previous chapters. Even though a story, especially a ongoing weekly manga, is a continuous narrative, so I should probably take more points off. I won't. Because this is finally, we're finally putting, or Suzuki Sensei is finally putting themselves, right? Like I keep saying we're right. This is our story. Why don't you ever speak to me anymore? We made this together. This isn't our story. But Suzuki Sensei is finally putting themselves in a position that does make sense for their strong suit, right? I'll admit, after all this time, I think we can finally come together as a community and agree. Suzuki Sensei can't do group fights. He can't do group versus 1v1s. He can't do group fights in general. He excels exclusively in the 1v1. I'm trying to think. The only time he did a group fight well, and this is, well, actually, no, that's, I'm lying. He can do group fights. He did. He literally just did. Well, not just. It's been a while now. But he did. My Glory Sense of Legendary King Takamura versus everybody. He staggered that well enough. He did, but even then, he like, mostly reduced it to 1. But even still, no, he had good group choreography. He had that actually work really, really well. We did, in fact, have the early series group fight in Everybody versus Gaku when he was controlling that one random guy. Like, we did have that. It's like it's not even that he can't do group fights. I don't know, he can't do group fights now, right? He excels more so in the 1v1. And even then, technically, I would say Kipe, Everyone versus Kipe was actually pretty decent group fight as well. So never mind. He can still do group fights, he just can't do them very well consistently. He excels in the 1v1. And that's the main thing that saves this chapter, right? It sets up the 1v1s. Admittedly, Tanabata still isn't a character yet, at least not a full character to me. He just looks cool and has like a cool weapon. That's fine. So him getting 1v1 up against Shin, there's no like character investment here, but fine, whatever. We may get that. That's cool enough. We'll see. For Ohi versus Nagumo, I'm glad it's happening. Unfortunately, it's clear a lot of it got done off screen, and we're probably still not going to see too much of this fight, because, I don't know, Suzuki just hates drawing Nagumo fights for some reason, but still, we at least cut back that. We acknowledge that it is happening. It's going on concurrently at the same time. So, fine, cool enough. We're probably going to get that. You know, I love Nagumo fights, and I would love to see Oki actually do anything, so I'm more than happy to see these two fight, or at least finally get back to it, maybe. Probably not in next chapter, but still soon. For the other matchups, Shishiba versus Gozu. Admittedly, it's a very quickly built up rivalry. It's like a very short stack one in terms of like Gozu was very recently introduced, but still they do have something of a character dynamic. And I'm interested to see these two fight. And they're fighting in a unique area. That looks like they're fighting in an arcade of sorts. I'd love to see how Gozu's electricity powers play into it. Hopefully he gets to use his gimmick a lot. And I'm interested to see how Shishiba ends up countering that or working around it with his hammers. I'm not sure if they're ceramic, doesn't seem like they are, but still. I hope he's able to work in interesting ways. I could see an interesting fight between these two happening, especially in an enclosed space. That's what Suzuki Sensei does best. Torres versus Osoragi is going to be a weird one because of just how they match up. Like, Torres is an air cannon user versus Osoragi Saw. It's going to be a weird one. But still, I think that's a weird one in a good way. These characters also don't really have a dynamic, I'll say. Like, none at all. Like, what is the dynamic between these characters? I don't know. One likes money and one believes that they need to follow Shishiba. But, like there's no... I guess, like, you could argue, like, the ideas of loyalty, right? Like, Osoragi is loyal to her beliefs and Shishiba specifically, meanwhile Torres is loyal to the bag, and the bag exclusively. So, like, you can maybe play off an interesting character dynamic there. It's just that there's no real dynamic that's set up. You're gonna have to build that mid-fight. That's fine, you can do that. We've seen Suzuki Sensei do it before. For Kipe versus the brothers, I think that's also very, very interesting. Once again, just because, like, the whole sibling dynamic, what it means, and very specifically, this is going to be mainly Kipe versus, not Amane. Kipe versus, I called him Amane earlier. Brain? My Fuyu. There we go. I called him my Amane earlier. My bad. But my Fuyu versus Kipe with Natsuki supporting. That's going to be very interesting. Once again, Kipe has actually been cooking as a character, and I like the character dynamic they have here. So this is a quickly built up bond, which has me faith for this one getting a built up bond some way in terms of character dynamic, and the choreography is going to be interesting. Those are still in the enclosed space of the JA or the JCC. That's going to be interesting. Boiled and Wu-Tang, I doubt we're going to see much of them. They're going to be fighting nameless random fodder, so we probably aren't going to see much of them anymore. This is essentially their banishment from the narrative, which is perfectly fine. Why does he not have lips? Then Atari, I just don't like her, but that's fine. She's not fighting anybody. And then Shin versus Tanabata, I already kind of went over this. They don't have a dynamic, but we could build a dynamic. And here's my only major critiques of the chapter. I think there's no real critique here. They made it here. I'm not gonna blame this chapter on weird things from last chapter. They just found them. That's fine. So this is fine. I have no real issues with this. This is fine. I like the ore farm. Sure, does it make sense that Gozu got the free time the ore farm while he was fighting Shishiba? No, but anything for the ore farm, I can let that slide. Shishiba knocking Gozu into a building, hilarious, and also apt considering he's like, leave, and then they go on to leave. I could go into the Tanabata thing, whatever. I've gone into it enough. I've already put a lot of the weight on that for the last 2 chapters. We're not going to go too deep into that. I'm not going to take points off for something that's already happened, and it at least gets answered in this chapter with Tanabata's reappearance, so that's perfectly fine. I won't get too mad at that, even though he easily could have stopped this, and they couldn't have escaped. The random people showing up, that's just the nature of Sakamoto Days, man. Like, people just show up and then get one tap. It's the law of the universe. These are random nameless fodders that obviously gets himself cared about drawing. These are the bare minimum. This is the worst art in the chapter. We're not gonna care. It's just a good way to get rid of Boiled and Wu-Tang. That's fine. You got to get rid of them somehow. Give them random fodder to fight. They're random fodder themselves, honestly. So getting rid of them is okay. Then the only real critique I have for this chapter is the Sakamoto thing. I don't know why he's like suddenly the linchpin when he was worthless. Literally, well, not like mostly worthless. Like, oh no, Kandaka. But wait, whatever. That's again like a previous chapter thing. So the chapter's worthy. It's probably like it's really for setting up the final battles or at least the last couple major battles. I'm probably gonna give the chapter like a 6 overall, 6 out of 10. Because like my only points off are weird, like little weird narrative integration stuff. A sad send off to my boy Boils, I guess. And like just a lack of dynamics that are established for some of these final battles. Like I don't, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'll be honest. Funnily enough, outside of this one and kind of this one, I don't really feel anything for these fights. I'm more so excited for just like seeing how Suzuki Sensei draws them. There's no like character investment here. Even between Nagumo and Oki's not a character. He's not really a character. He's just a cool idea as the leader of the order. Like that's all he is. So like there's nothing really exciting inherently on a character level about any of these fights. Not even Shishiba versus Gozu, despite them actually having some sort of dynamic. But I'll admit, I actually am strangely enough, I am somewhat emotionally invested in Kipe versus my Fuyu and Natsuki. That's something that's interesting to me off the pure just idea of it. And I think that's also just because I'm a sibling myself and I have like interesting perspectives relating to that. It's like that's something that works. This is the one I'm actually most emotionally invested in, but the other ones I don't really care. I'm just interested to see how the fights go out. And I think that's the sad thing. Where I used to be a vehement arguer against, Sakamoto is just hype moments in aura. Yeah, it is just hype moments in aura. I don't really care about any of the character interactions here. I know all the heroes are going to win. And they're going to be fine. But I'm interested to see how the fights are drawn. And I think that's good enough. I think, and now, unlike before, I think I got to lower my standard. This is the new standard for Sakamoto Days. The fights will be cool, hopefully. And that's it. And that's fine. That's fine. Not every manga needs to be peak. Or like peak of Moto Days. It's still peak, but it's peak not in an all-around comprehensive way. It's peak in terms of like a choreography and battle manga kind of way. It's fine. So overall, if you made all the way to this video, please leave starting setups in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also you can have a page down below you can support me for as low as $1 a month. You can see exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member to the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions here this series I have to review, ad-free variations of all my videos, early ad-free access to all my videos, and by all my videos I mean all the videos here on the main channel, meaning all the reviews I do over here and any other types of discussion videos, and also all reaction videos on the second channel that got the reaction, which will be linked in the description down below. And on top of that, you get your name at the end of every single video. If you're a $3 member or higher, you get your name read aloud and not just listed at the end of every single video, on top of all the previous perks. And on top of that, if you want to just drop 5 beats for a short video or 25 beats for a long video, you can drop it to the Ko-Fi real quick and I will complete that requesty westy. But now I want to thank you so much for watching once again and hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. Alright, lady, thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Guilmi, Buddha Uda, Enzo, Swift Strike, Superflame Zero, Yuki Ally, Azo2404, Striker Man, Grim, Ollie, The Boy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Magic, CCC, Armando Furen, Dino, Heath Nelson, Hector Gonzalez, Black Sage, Zapro, Tim Thomas, Alex Kenny, Kaving, Julian Perez, 8SOA, Akulade Babatunde, Union I, RXN, Nevis97, Shish King, Logan Guzman, Karina Hernandez, Window Life, Dead Meme, Karudir, Reyna, Christian Carter, Jagoda, Keon Stewart, Donovan McIntosh, Sino King, and Hamza Idrisi. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our line art tier patrons: A+A, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Dreads Owen, and Norgazi Andasov. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our ink tier members: King RTX and Shrimpo the 4 Shrimp 06. And I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a final thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Walking Munoz and Walkie Munoz.